Hello there, I'm Emma. Thanks for joining us for another episode in the Cities of Sigmar series. Today we're adding a touch of magic to our Hammerhal Aksha army as we assemble the Alchemite Warforger following the instruction booklet. Additionally, we'll walk you through each step of crafting a base using epoxy putty and other elements. Stay tuned as we share the legendary tale of Magnus Emberheart, a renowned Warforger. Feel free to share your thoughts as we embark on this artistic adventure together. Our process begins by delicately removing the components from the plastic frame, utilizing sharp precision cutters to avoid any potential damage, especially to the more delicate parts. Next, we clean the parts carefully and remove any mold lines. Before using Citadel plastic glue to put the parts together, we do a dry fit to make sure everything aligns perfectly. Plastic glue can be used to melt part of the model and conceal small gaps. If there are larger gaps, epoxy putty like green stuff works better. It takes a bit more time, but it's worth it to ensure the model looks great once painted. Luckily, most of the seams won't be visible once the model is fully assembled. While we finish assembling our battle mage, let's delve into the mysterious world of Alchemite Warforgers, masters of mystical metallurgy, standing at the crossroads of might and magic. Channeling the raw energies of Chalman, these specialist wizards, robust as blacksmiths, wield their power through glowing rune cubes plucked from their crucibles, reshaping not just metal but the very fabric of reality. In the heart of free cities, the Alchemite Warforger emerges, a metalworking mage armed with the tong staff, a fusion of a wizard's staff and blacksmith's tongs. Draped in a tough forger's apron adorned with sigils and a fine metal mask marked with twin-tailed comets, they carry the weight of alchemical glory. Warforgers are a formidable presence to behold on the battlefield as the jaws of their tong staff clutch red-hot rune cubes, nestled in a rune-marked crucible smoldering with shaman's magic. With each grip, the Warforger wields the power to reforge nature's laws, a testament to their mastery over the arcane. This is the saga of the Alchemite Warforger, a conjurer of metal and magic, a force to reshape destinies. An epic story tells of a renowned Alchemite Warforger named Magnus Emberheart, who stood as a guardian against the impending darkness. The skies above the city were ablaze with the ominous hues of an otherworldly storm, heralding the arrival of a formidable chaos warband led by a malevolent sorcerer. As the chaos horde descended upon the city, Magnus Emberheart, with his tong staff ablaze and runic crucible aglow, stepped forward to confront the dark forces. Alongside him stood the stalwart Free Guild Steelhelms, ready to defend their home. The clash between the forces of order and chaos echoed through the streets, but Magnus' alchemical prowess shone brightly. In the midst of the brutal battle, the Chaos Sorcerer unleashed a devastating spell that threatened to engulf the entire city in a maelstrom of disruptive energies. Undeterred, Magnus channeled the magic of Chalman through his runic crucible. His indomitable willpower was so great that the potency of the spell he cast was increased tenfold. A surge of fiery energy engulfed the battlefield as the entire Free Guild army became infused with blazing weapons, each of their strikes now inflicting mortal wounds instead of regular damage, turning the tide of battle against the forces of chaos. The Alchemite Warforger's mastery over the arcane, combined with the valor of the Free Guild Steelhelms, vanquished the chaos forces under the scorching onslaught. This heroic feat, woven with the indomitable spirit of those who wield both magic and metal, became a legendary tale echoing through the realms. The story of Magnus Emberheart and the Free Guild Steelhelms served as a testament to the power of Chalman, the resilience of the free cities, and the unwavering commitment to repel the forces that sought to unravel the realms. As Magnus Emberheart continued his defense of the city, the tale of this united front against chaos reverberated, inspiring others to stand against the encroaching darkness. Now that we've assembled the main parts, it's time to consider an interesting way to display the model on its base. The crucible and mace will be painted separately before being glued to the model. This approach allows us to paint the apron more easily. The contact points between these components will be left unpainted so that the plastic glue can effectively adhere when it's time to assemble everything. There are various ways to create an interesting base for our miniature models. Natural stones, pieces of wood or bark, cork, and bits can be used to craft a sturdy base that simulates a realistic background. In our case, we'll use a piece of pavement similar to the ones used on the bases of the Steel Helms unit. This will visually link the Warforger to the other models in the army. To achieve this, we'll use green stuff epoxy putty and a rolling pin. We first mix the putty thoroughly for about a minute to ensure optimal hardness after curing. Then we flatten the putty until it's approximately 2 mm thick. Green stuff is sticky enough to adhere to the textured surface of the base without needing additional glue. Using a homemade spacer, we roll the textured pin slowly to ensure a consistent print of the pattern. The shim should be at the right height to ensure uniform depth across the entire surface. It's crucial to moisten the putty and rolling pin with water before proceeding. Excess putty that overflows around the base can be removed with a craft knife before or after it hardens. Before the putty is completely hard, it is now time to incorporate the other elements onto the base. We'll add an orc skull and stones, pressing them into the epoxy. These elements can also be glued to the base once the putty is completely hard. If you're looking for basing materials, epoxy putties, or texturing rolling pins, check out Fenris Workshop. The link to their website and more details are in the video description. We'll now wait 24 hours for the putty to fully harden. Since it'll be impossible to reach the underside of the model once it's glued to its base, we primed it before going any further. To ensure that the model is securely anchored to the base, we'll use super glue. Additionally, we'll glue sand to hide any eventual gaps and add texture to the ground. Before putting the final touch on the base, the model will be cleaned, primed in black, and painted. This concludes our Alchemite Warforger assembling and basing session. Let us know in the comments if you enjoyed this video, and if so, a like would be very appreciated. Also consider subscribing to the channel and sharing our videos with your friends. In the next episode of this series, we'll paint our battle mage in the colors of Hammerhau Aksha. We'll also discuss object source lighting, commonly known as OSL, and apply this technique to add incandescent effects to our model. Stay tuned for interesting painting insights. Thanks for joining us today. Until next time, happy crafting, and take care!